Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hi,
to this discussion. I'm Wade,
I'm Scott.
and we haven't seen you guys since Home Alone, Sweet Home Alone. What was it? Home Sweet Home
Oh,
Alone.
Sweet Home Alone.
So it's been almost a year. Originally, we were going to do a Rob Zombie retrospective of all of his films leading up to the Monsters
And then,
review,
and then we decided not to because we didn't want to.
yes. But I'll do the recap right now. House of Thousand Corpses, pretty decent, good horror film.
Right.
Devil's Rejects, a better horror film. And not see all Super Beasts, so I can't comment on that. Halloween was bad.
We already know about that.
Halloween 2 was worse.
We got videos about that. You're good.
Lords of Salem was probably one of the worst movie experiences in a theater I've ever had. And I've not seen anything else except for the Monsters, of course. So there you go. We did the recap.
Oh, you forgot about Three from Hell, 31.
Well, I didn't see those.
But you didn't name them.
But anyway, we're here to talk about the Monsters. We saw the trailer. We weren't fans.
No. Although it was one of those trailers that I watched multiple times because I couldn't believe how bad a trailer could be until I saw it. So much so that I pretty much had the trailer memorized. So throughout the movie, I was pointing out the stuff in the trailer, which I will give this movie credit. On some movie we all know, Rogue One, everything in the trailer is in the movie.
Is that a good thing? Just general thoughts on the film. Right now, it came out as of this recording yesterday on Netflix. We thought it was going on the Peacock, but it's on Netflix. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know the deal with that.
Some people saying it's the worst movie. It's awful, and some people are saying this is the great. It's a Hallmark. It's a classic. You need to watch it every Halloween. And my verdict is,
This movie is the most tolerable movie I've ever watched in my life. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. I'm not mad I watched it. I'm not happy I watched it. It's just, it was watching it was this is definitely a movie you can have one in the background as just noise. And that's what it was like watching it. I just, everything just happened. It was okay.
To me, it's the Addams Family reunion of the Monsters. Have you ever seen Addams Family reunion?
Have you seen Addams Family Reunion? I
Yes.
need to ask you that.
Yes, I have. I was a kid.
Oh,
I saw a trailer for it when I had the Power Rangers Turbo movie on
same
VHS.
here.
That's how I found out about it. And I liked Addams Family and Addams Family Values. Why I say it's Addams Family Reunion, I'm not saying it's as good as or bad as that, but it's the production of it.
No, this is definitely a step up because that movie sucks.
It feels like Saban Entertainment made this film.
It feels like it was low key a pilot for a Monsters reboot show. Because a lot of the way it's set up, it feels like a TV show, which I know the Monsters was a TV show. Don't think I don't know that.
It's supposed to be like the TV show, Scott.
But the way it's shot like a sitcom. It's shot like a TV show. And whether or not that was... And the thing is whether or not it was made to be in this just a movie in the style of the show, whether or not it was supposed to be a pilot film that would lead to a monster show.
I think he just did it. So
I don't know.
I think Rob Zombie made this film just so he can say he has sex with Lily Munster.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and to her credit, she gets a lot of flack from people, myself included, that she's only in these movies because she's Rob Zombie's husband. And while I do... Wife. Did I say husband?
Yes.
I meant to say he is her husband. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, we're keeping that in, by the way.
Oh, I'm not editing any of this.
This was probably the first time I watched something with her in it that I actually was like, she's fine in this.
Yes.
I think she does a decent job. I'll also give this movie credit for giving Lily Munster an actual trait or something, because she actually has powers.
Oh yes, there's
so I will give them.
They're adding a whole lot of lore here.
I'll give them credit for that.
This is basically, if you don't know, if you couldn't figure out by the trailer, it's the
origin.
It's an origin, a prequel to the show. You see how Herman and Lily meet. You see Herman get. He doesn't really win the affections of. He doesn't win the respect of Grandpa or the Counts.
He sort of just gets it.
Yeah.
It sort of just happens.
Oh, you also get the origin of Spike.
We do get the origin of
yes.
Wait, Spike.
Yeah, and that's Spike. Well, that wasn't Spike. Oh my god.
Spot?
Spotch.
The origin of Spike.
Anyway, and there's characters you don't care about.
There's a lot of characters you don't care
I do
about.
like Uncle Gilbert.
That was fine.
It's cute. It was cute.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters you don't care about. There's plots that go nowhere.
I'll say this. The Lester character, I had 0 laughs. Let's be real. I didn't have a lot of laughs in this movie.
I had a sensible chuckle one time.
Yes.
I almost laughed at something, and then it was ruined by dialogue.
The mime joke.
The mime joke.
The mime joke was really good, and then Lily had to talk.
Yes.
And
yeah. There's a scene where when they're in Paris, they see a mime, and like Herman is just like in love with this thing, and the mime notices him, and he's like talking about how like mimes don't talk, whatever, and then the mime screams, and he just goes, "That is the loudest mime I've ever heard." And if it would have just let that line breathe, I would have actually laughed. But of course, this is why people who aren't comedians should not be making comedies.
Yes.
And then Lily talks and just throws it off.
A lot of people say this movie is really funny. I don't think so because
it's not.
There's jokes and they don't let them breathe ever.
There's There's not. No. The only jokes are the jokes that Herman and the character whose brain the person who he got his brain from.
Yeah.
Those are jokes, and they're only jokes because those are like lame-ass jokes that you would read in any old school joke book. As someone who loves dumb comedy, I will admit some of them were funny, but I've heard them before.
But that's the point. Is they're like, oh, it's supposed to be like that because it's bad. It's old school. It's campy.
But see, that's the thing, though. The Munsters wasn't campy. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was like top of the heap entertainment or anything. But like the joke was they were these fish out of water. The joke was not the production. The joke was not. You know what I mean? Like. This wasn't like it's like somewhere along the line people thought every show from this era was cheesy like the 66 Batman series, and it wasn't.
It was just it's what they call sitcom.
And not only that, but like some of the quote unquote cheese is like in hindsight, like a lot of those shows, the reason they're cheesy is because this is just the way shows were at the time. This is just the way they were made. No one was making fun of it, or even if they were, it wasn't like it is now, where like everything has to be like picked apart, dissected.
I mean, something like if you take something like Laverne and Shirley or whatever. That's not campy. It's just comedy, right?
Right.
Squiggy's like, hello. It's.
I like that your hair can just do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Squiggy from the rest of the show.
Yeah, like I'll tell you who did this concept right. The people who did the Brady Bunch movie.
Yes,
because they didn't get too like crazy with it. They were just like, what if the Brady Bunch from the 70s or the 60s or whatever
was in the 90s?
What if we put them in the 90s? Yeah. That's all they had to do, and they sort of did that with the Munsters in the 80s. But like they had to do the whole they were frozen or just throw them in there.
Yeah. The lighting was cool. I like the lighting.
Yeah, it was just a lot of just throw a green light on it. Everything will be fine. Just throw a green light on it.
There's another joke that made me chuckle is when Herman is about to go on the date with Lily and the Count is like on.
Oh, and they're screaming at each other.
Yeah, and it comes down. It's like what? And just that was...
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll admit. I got a chuckle out of that.
Also has a big problem with the plot of like just like the second act is like. Usually it builds up to something. It builds up to nothing really.
Yeah, they're really If you like watching movies that build up to something, this isn't the movie for you.
The movie kind of felt like Rob in the middle of writing. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot the whole thing about the Mockingbird Lane, the whole idea of fish out of water. It's how the normal regular people interact with the Munsters and how the Munsters view them as the weird people.
Right.
Like. Oh, we forgot all about that. Let's just throw it in the last 30 minutes of the movie.
And while it wasn't done super, like, bad or good for that matter, I did like the idea of how they move in on Halloween, so they think everybody is like them. Which, I mean, considering they're from Transylvania and the way Transylvania is shown in this movie, it's not that crazy for them to think that. But then the next day when they see everybody how they really are, it freaks them out.
And then that's where you're like, okay, now we're getting to the next part of the story, but that's the end.
Yeah. It's like it finally.
But the Lester thing pays off.
You finally get to. It's like you finally get to the thing you wanted out of this movie, and it's over.
Yeah.
You go through that entire hour and 40-some minute journey to get to where you want to be, but where you want to be is the end.
Yeah.
And not because you want the movie to end, but it's like this is the part. This is what you actually want, and it's like then it's over.
Yeah. I mean, characters are fine. Lily Munster was fine. Grandpa was good.
Yeah,
Herman can be great at points, but he just wears out its welcome real quick with the shtick.
Well, I truly believe if you took the character as like this version of Herman Munster and made it a different character in a different movie, I think it would have worked. Like, I really wanted to like this version of Herman based on his performance, but like there was so many things involved that kept me from liking it.
And there's little things, so there's little elements of the Fred Gwynn version of Herman Munster where like he starts laughing and he stomps on the ground, and you're like, oh, I like that, I remember that, but then he has that weird like
voice,
goofy voice, and I don't know, it just
the closest he came to that would be to me was when Lily goes to see his band, and then like she knocks on his like dressing room door, and she's basically asking him out, and like every time
closes the door.
Yeah, he'd be like, hold on, let me check my schedule, and they close the door, and you hear him like freaking out, and everything. Like that's the closest Herman felt in this whole movie to the Herman we know and love.
Yes, I do like how Flu goes from like little like henchman like gathering brains to being like his manager.
Well, how are you going to manage a band when you have leprosy, Wade?
No, not him, the other guy.
I know. I'm saying, how is the doctor going to manage them when he's got leprosy?
Who he also plays Orlock. Also, the Tin Can Man, who I think is like a reference to White Zombie.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, is Butch Patrick, who is Eddie Munster. Though I will say this, before we close, this is the most important thing ever for this thing. I will, if you're watching this, Robert Zombie.
T. Zombie.
I will commend you for having the restraint from shoehorning Dragula, the song, and the car into the film. I know they build it more into the show, but like, he has a song called Dragula. I am so surprised you didn't use it.
Yeah, you could have done it.
I commend you, Robert. You thought it was tolerable?
Like I said, it was tolerable. Nothing really stands out. The only thing that's really bad is some of the special effects. Like Spot looks like crap. The skeleton that pops out of the wall at the end, like towards the end. I think they were in when they first get to the house or something. I don't know. There's like the skeleton that pops out of the wall and it's like clearly CG. And even my wife was like, "You guys couldn't just get a dollar store skeleton?" Like, whatever. Like the CG sucked. The lighting and some of the sets were kind of fun. But like nothing really stood out. That's why I don't really feel comfortable doing like a section for characters, a section for setting, things like that. Nothing really stood out in this movie. The only thing that really stood out were the three main characters, but they were gonna stand out anyway because they were the main characters. My only real like nitpick and thing I have totally against this movie is that they completely spoil the ending in the trailer. So if you've seen the trailer, you already know how the movie ends.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you because unlike them, I'm not a dirty spoiler. Yeah. But just know, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen how this movie ends. So if you're trying to avoid it, you already know the finish.
Yep. So that's our thoughts on The Munsters 2022 film. Let us know in the comments section below how wrong we are and how much you hate us and how much you hate my Squiggy impression. Yeah. And like, subscribe, and share. Do all that. So.
Oh, and don't forget, support Meteor King, meteorking.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, so there's all that stuff. Follow us on Instagram, Making This Productions, stuff like that. So that's it. We're done.